Hi everyone, this is Brandy Shampoo with Exploring Expression, and welcome to another Check Out This Book. This is the series where I share some of my favorite books with you, and I have a fantastic one for you today. But before we get started, go ahead and hit like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you can be sure to be notified every time a new book comes out. So today what we're going to be reading is The Tire Swing by James Bird Brewster. This is a Steve and Stevie series. Steve and Stevie. I love these books. These are just fantastic. Look at that art in there. What do you think they're going to do? Why do you think he's pointing at that tree? Let's find out. Stevie Walker, Daddy said, what this yard needs is a tire swing. What would you think if we put one right there? Daddy pointed to a tall oak tree next to the driveway. The tree had a branch way up that was sticking out all by itself. I like it, Daddy, I said. My name is Stevie, right there, and I am 7. Mom came outside. She said, there you are, supper's almost ready. Then she saw Daddy looking at the tree. Steve, what are you doing? She asked. My daddy's name is Steve. I am named after him, but everybody calls me Stevie. Darling, Daddy said, I'm thinking this tree would make a good tire swing. My mom's name is Kamisha, but Daddy always calls her Darling. Mom looked at the tree and said, that's a great idea. The kids will love it. Now, come in for supper. During supper, I told my older sister Nadia and my older brother Nigel that Daddy was going to make us a tire swing. Nigel is 12. He said he thought it was a neat idea. Nadia is 10 and likes books. She said, Daddy, I remember reading about mosquitoes and how they lay their eggs in rainwater and that collects in tire swings. If you drill a hole in the tree, that won't happen. Mom smiled and said, that's my girl. Thanks, sweetie, Daddy said. I'll do that. Daddy said, Nigel, the oak next to the driveway has a limb about 40 feet up that we can use. We will need an old tire. Have you seen one around the neighborhood? Nigel said. There might be some down at the bike jumps. I'll look tomorrow. Daddy said, thanks, Nigel. On Saturday, Stevie and I will get the rope we need. That week, Nigel found an old tire and cleaned it. Daddy and I went to the store on Saturday and bought 100 feet of rope and a spool of orange string. Daddy said, Daddy let me give the money to the cashier. I got ahead of myself there, didn't I? What's the orange string for, Daddy? I asked. He winked at me. Stevie, I am going to show you. Back at the house, Daddy, Nigel, and I stared up at the tree limb. Nigel said, Dad, that's really way up there. How are we going to get the rope over it? I agreed with Nigel. The limb was really far away. How do you think they're going to get the rope over there? Let's try something, Daddy said. He unwrapped the rope, coiled it, and handed it to Nigel. Now, he said, put a coil in each hand and throw one coil over the branch. Nigel tried to throw it, but the coil didn't get very high. The rope is heavy, Nigel said. Yes, it is, Daddy said. Let me try it. Daddy threw the coil higher than Nigel had, but it still didn't reach the branch. The rope was too heavy. Well, that idea didn't work. What are they going to try next, you think? Then, Daddy handed me a small wrench. Stevie, he said, throw this as high as you can. Throw it underhand. I threw the wrench up into the air as hard as I could. It went higher than when Daddy threw the rope into the air. Great job, Stevie, Daddy said. Now, Nigel, you try it. Nigel threw the wrench in the air, and it went as high as the branch. I picked it up and gave it back to Daddy. Great job, Nigel, Daddy said. Now let me try. Daddy threw the wrench in the air and it went higher than the branch. Stevie, Daddy said, hand me that orange string. I gave the orange string to Daddy. Daddy tied the end of the orange string around the wrench. Then he unrolled a lot of string from the roll. Nigel suddenly blurted out, I get it, Dad. We use the wrench to throw the string over the branch, and then we use the string to pull up the rope. Daddy grinned. Good thinking, Nigel, he said. Daddy handed the wrench and string to Nigel. Here, you throw it over. Nigel threw the wrench and it fell short. I picked it up and gave it back to Nigel. Nigel threw the wrench again and it still didn't go over the branch. I picked it up and gave it back to Nigel. Nigel said, Here, Dad, you do it. Daddy smiled. You were very close, Nigel. Why don't you try it again? Nigel threw the wrench again. It went over the branch with the orange string trailing behind it. Nigel grinned. Yes, he shouted. Daddy smiled. Nice throw, he said. I shouted, Yay! Nigel gave me a high five. Daddy untied the orange string from the wrench and tied it to the end of the rope. Stevie, Daddy said, pull on this orange string and see what happens. I pulled on the string and the end of the rope rose off the ground. Keep pulling, Daddy said. I pulled and the rope went higher. I pulled again and the rope rose even higher. It was getting near the branch. Then the string began to hurt my hands. I can't hold it, I shouted. Help me. I got it, Stevie, Nigel said as he took the string from me. He gave a big pull and the rope slid over the branch and down the other side. Thanks, Nigel, I said. Daddy laughed and said, You boys did great. Now let's get the tire tied on and see how it works. Before you do, said a voice, Who wants a cookie? It was Mom and Nadia. They were carrying plastic cups, a pitcher of milk, and a plate of cookies. We do, we shouted. I took the plate, Nigel took the cups, and Daddy took the pitcher. Daddy gave Mom a kiss and said, Darling, you are the best. Mom smiled and laughed and said, And don't you forget it. I laughed too. I like it when Daddy and Mom talk like that. We ate the cookies and drank some milk. Then Daddy drilled a hole in the tire for water to drain out. He tied the rope around the tire and tested the swing by sitting on it. The rope did not break. Stevie, Daddy said, you give it a try and let's see how it swings. I climbed up on the tire and Daddy pushed me. It worked just fine. The end. Wasn't that a great book? Have you ever swung on a tire swing? Comment down below if you've ever swung on a tire swing. And until next time, we'll see you later.